Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 293. And in today's episode, we'll take a little walk down memory lane and talk about things that I wish that I had done when I was a young safety professional. So the title of this is Make Your Grass Greener by Watering It. So I came up with this as I was on a nice long hike, got to the top of a nice mountain, kind of overlooking, sat down, had some water, that kind of stuff. Then I kind of thought that as we're going through life, there's times that we think we're ready for the next promotion. Hopefully we're with the same company. Maybe we have to leave and go to another company. And there are times that maybe we feel kind of stale. We feel stagnant. We've almost outgrown the position that we're in then. So when I sat down and I really made a list, what I found with myself, of course, is that there were things that I needed to work on. There were uncomfortable things I needed to work on. And so I felt very comfortable doing what I was doing, but I wasn't really looking at the whole picture. And I know we all come to this world, this life with a different level of when we want to step outside of our comfort zone and all that kind of stuff then. But the one thing that I really wish that I had would have done is at times, of course, I'm obviously waiting for that promotion. And I think that I'm ready. Instead of feeling stale, what I should have done is said, now what are the things that I really need to focus on that would really help me out in the next job as well then. So I really wish that I had talked to my boss about, are there any more speaking engagements that I can do? Are there any initiatives coming out that maybe I could lead, as opposed to somebody saying, hey, we came up with this initiative, we kick it out to all the plants, you guys kind of figure out how you're going to make it work on and not like that's not important, of course, but maybe leading one, would have been better for me to really sit down and kind of understand things. Um, like it's very easy to get focused on the tactical things, that the day to day, but when you look at the long term, like where do we want to see the company safety program in 5 or 10 years? It's really easy to say, hey, here's my annual goal. I'm going to do that. But when you kind of look at like the long term, where do we want to see ourselves in? So, and I'm talking about the company, not ourselves. We have to have our own personal plan, of course, as well. But what are the things that I can do now to make my grass greener? You know, so there's always something out there. Do I need to learn more about finances? Do I need to focus on explaining my point about correcting hazards, maybe with return on investment, taking numbers and using the numbers and let the numbers do the talking for me, because that's another form of um, getting somebody to address a hazard. So when you talk to the everyday folks, they obviously get it and all that. Sometimes the hard part is, how do I get that money to address this hazard? Everybody wants to have a safe workplace, but we also know that money is not this endless spigot. As I tell my kids when they want some money, just go outside and shake that money tree and see what falls out. So just it's just not endless. So things that I wish that I had done is to sit down and say, if I'm how can I get the money faster? How can I prove return on investment? So, and how can I also um, address hazards that either we act on them, or the company says we are willing to take that risk, and then I can focus on other things then instead. So that's always a super uncomfortable topic for safety professionals, to really peel back that onion, really talk to the company leadership and say, you tell me what's a acceptable level of risk out there, because we like to think that the level of risk is zero. It's not always zero, of course, because we drive to work, we do things. So there's going to be just risk in just existing in life, of course. We can do what we can to reduce that risk, of course, obviously, but to really sit down and talk to the company and say, what is acceptable risk? Because then you can really focus on, like, if somebody says, I just don't, like, think about I don't think about how, or if the company says, I don't think somebody could get hurt mopping the floor, you know, well, then we won't even address that then. Maybe what we'll do is focus on the slipperiness of the floor, but we won't worry about just the mechanical. I'm carrying the water, like maybe I'm putting some chemicals in, and maybe if they're not even going to think that's even something that has to be addressed, then maybe we focus on the things that really have to be addressed. Not like that's not important, but let's focus on the things that others think are going to be important too, to really make some really good progress. So at this point, I think I'm just starting to ramble on and everything else. But the point of it, of course, is that we all feel stale at some point. We all feel like, I've done this job, I'm ready for the next jump, I'm ready for the next promotion, I'm ready for this. Or if the company is not going to promote you, most people get frustrated enough at some point in time and then just leave. What can you do to make yourself better in that time that you're waiting for that promotion, or you've decided to make that jump and say, I'm going to leave the company. Either way, it's going to make you a better safety professional by sitting down, looking at those things, and addressing those items. With that, let's wrap it up. 293 is complete. I want to thank everybody for joining me. My name is Dr. David Ayers. Thank you, and have a safe day.